Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood as we continue. James Kline, that's me, picks for this month of May, this month of summertime, this month of getting ready for your Cinco de Mayos, getting ready for your races of horses, getting ready for your days of backlash when it comes to wrestling and to Double or Nothing, all these wrestling events. But the Retro Blood is celebrating May the only way that we know how to, with blood. Because
and it's your birthday.
It's my birthday coming up soon, here and there. So we're doing James Kline's Blood Month, which pretty much means we're doing movies with the title Blood right in front of them. Last week we did The Great Blood Beach with the great John Saxon. But up next, if y'all like Darth Vader getting some white girl tan pussy, if y'all like hidden creatures that take virgins and sacrifice them to give it monster creature powers, if y'all like a girl who's been tranced by this virgin creature and her sole mission is to uncover the mystery of this virgin temple creature by unlocking before Christ pictures of an Egypt wolfman cock, then this is the review for you, brother, because the Retro Blood's talking all about Blood Tide. J.H. Alison, James Kline. What's happened, Alison? How's your trip on a Greek island with the natives?
Yeah.
Seeing the great John Pearl Jones bang some young, hot blonde chick. How's that going for you?
Man, it was surprisingly fun. I liked this movie a lot.
I liked it too.
Yeah, it was a good choice. This
movie was really weird. Because it was actually a very corny movie with all this shit, but man, that fucking John Earl Jones character was so great.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, my bad.
Yeah, he was the voice of Darth Vader.
Bro, when I first of all, I saw his name on the credits, I was like, no shit, what the fuck? And then, like, the first thing you see with him is like when Neil's going up, trying to find his sister, and then you could hear his voice in the background. I'm like, how the fuck did Darth Vader show up here? Holy shit, what is he doing here?
Yeah, it's unmistakable. To people our age, he is most known as the voice of Darth Vader.
Yes.
I mean, he had a very distinguished acting career before he played Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing, like, people my age and younger probably know him from.
Exactly. You don't know him from Blood Tide?
And from as the bad guy in Conan. He played Tulsa
Doom
in
Conan. Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about him because his career is actually pretty fascinating. I know he recently passed away. Wasn't it last year? So it was pretty sad because it was last year. Yeah, he is a fantastic actor. And his voice is probably the most, I don't know if it's the most like famous voice in acting, but it has to be up there. Like, his voice needs to go into like the Hall of Fame because it is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, his voice is just absolutely fantastic. Like, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, but like whatever, like, he defined the character of Darth Vader. Yeah. Like, that is what Darth Vader sounds like, and he was playing Darth Vader all the way up until Rise of Skywalker, or even. I don't know if he's in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. You might have passed by then. I can't remember. I thought he died last year, though.
No, I think he did the voice acting for that one, I believe, unless they used some AI shit on him. But
I'm not sure. But but he was playing Darth Vader up until fairly recently.
Yeah. So, we'll talk all about him. We'll talk about the Blood Tide. This movie was pretty interesting. Like I said, like, it was like a very corny style, like, island movie.
So what do you mean by that? So, like, I hate when people use the word corny and cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, it's a movie about a cult sacrificing girls to a monster. Like, but
well, that's how you say it.
What would make it not corny?
I said it was a movie about a native culture sacrificing young virgins to a wolf dick monster.
Well, that's the same thing.
Okay. I mean, okay, I don't think it's like corny as in like, oh my God, like I can't watch this. It's so corny. I mean, it's just cheesy where it's like, you know, okay, remember when we did that Island month? Couple months back?
Yeah.
We did all these island movies. They all have like the same like structure to them. All right?
Okay.
So actually I thought, but compared to some of the ones we did on that island month, this one was actually pretty good. Okay? Just because the acting was so good in it. I think the movie would have been a little better if we didn't see the creature, because the creature did look a little corny.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and I guess by corny you mean they didn't have a lot of money to make.
And it was weird though, because Alison, I gotta ask you a question here because I need to know this. So the creature just looked like some '80s creature you would see in some kids show, okay? But when Melinda, when she revealed the third layer of the famous painting of doom, of evil Christ stuff, I swear I saw a wolf Egyptian cock.
No, that's what I saw too.
Where was he at? Where was that monster at?
Yeah, we didn't see the big giant dick monster.
Hold on, I'm going to break the fourth wall here. Hold on a second. Did you get it yet?
No, I got it. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we said it is. It's like a monster with a big dick.
Well, where the hell is he at?
Well, that was kind of like all that stuff at the end where she's like with the water raining on her and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of where that was taking place. But yeah, they didn't actually have the big dick monster in the movie. I guess they didn't have enough money for that.
Now, Alison, before I take this off the screen for our lovely listeners, and we'll get back to our faces, would you or would you not put this in your background? I think I'm going to put this in my background from now on. This is a great...
In your back. Yeah, you should put that in your background for sure.
Look at this thing, bro. Okay, what's more iconic, this one or that Ghostbuster painting?
No, I like the Ghostbuster painting better, but this is pretty iconic, though.
Look at this thing, bro. Look at him. I mean, that thing is standing up at attention, brother. It is ready to get some virgins.
It is.
That thing is ready for some virgins.
There is no there's no erectile dysfunction on that guy.
He's ready to go, man. Okay.
He doesn't need the blue chew.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now how the fuck do I get out of here?
But if Blue Chew would like to sponsor our show, we will gladly talk about it.
Oh, yeah, we will gladly talk about it. All right, let me get back over here. Let me get back to some civilized stuff, not seeing some Egypt cock monster. Okay. So,
why is it Egyptian? They're in Greece.
Well, look at the fucking thing. Doesn't it look like he's wearing some Egyptian mask or whatever? Some wolf thing?
No, it looks Greek to me.
Greek? Okay, well, you might have more Greek cock than me. I'm sorry. All right.
Oh, I see where this is going. All right.
Hey, man, I've been drinking on the show. What do you expect is going to happen?
All right, we'll see. What is that? Is that a...
It's right here. It's okay. It's a new one from High Wire. It's the Paradise Punch Sour. You know what I mean? Just in time. Look, man.
It sounds fruity.
Look at that. Look at that. Got the beach on there. Got I'm celebrating, man. We're here at this island, man. I'm trying to go find this virgin temple. Okay, I'm trying to break in. I'm trying to hang out with Darth Vader. Like, what do you think? That's what we're doing here, brother.
That sounds like a beer for someone who doesn't drink beer.
Listen, this is great beer, man. It's sour. It's great. Okay. Speaking
Darth
of
Vader would not drink that. Anyway,
that's true. He's more of a. What do you think? He's more of a stout guy.
Oh, he's a stout man for sure.
Yeah.
Stouts and porters. Yeah.
But everybody
to the dark side.
To the dark side, right? Just like everybody. Let's talk about what is going on in the world of the pro wrestling and the metal music, like we do every week here on the Retro Blood. Wolf, Greek dick or not, we will talk about what is going on in the world of the pro wrestling and the metal music around the release date of September 24th, 1982. All right? Came out in New Jersey.
Yeah, right. Bergen, New Jersey.
Bergen, New Jersey. Are they big fans of Greek cock over there, Alison?
I don't know. I'm sure the people of Bergen, New Jersey are just fine people. But yeah.
Asking. I wasn't too sure. That's why I was asking. But this could be a wild episode. Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
All right, so what I got for the pro wrestling is pretty interesting. We've never done it. We've done some stuff like this before, but I'm going to do like a character profile of one wrestler who actually died on the date that this movie came out, which is pretty sad.
Okay.
But he was actually apparently he was a pretty famous wrestler in Mexico since like the 50s and the 60s around this time. And I'm just going to let everybody know, if you're all like a big wrestling and Mexican wrestling fans, I'm not a historian when it comes to Mexican wrestling. I know a little bit. I know what Lucha Libre is. I know some of the big stars that came out of Lucha Libre, you know, like El Santo and Santos and stuff, like Mystico, Rey Mysterio, you know, all them. I know the major star ones, but I don't know traditional Lucha Libre. I'm not sure about that. But I thought this was fun because we don't talk a whole lot about Mexican wrestling, Lucha Libre wrestling. We don't talk a lot about that. But I found this guy that died on this date that the movie came out, which I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, so Marcelo, I might fuck up his last name, Marcelo Andrenian, who was best known for his name in Mexican wrestling as Roughhouse Jack O'Brien. Okay.
Roughhouse Jack O'Brien. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what he was named. And he was actually, he was in the EMLL Federation. Okay. That's where he made most of his wrestling appearances at the time. The Empresa Mexican de Lucha Libre promotion. Like I said, if I fuck this all up, sorry. If you all can tell, I am actually extremely white. Okay. So,
you don't say.
So, he actually held a bunch of Mexican belts at this time. He was the Mexican National Light Heavyweight Champion, the Mexican National Welterweight Champion, and the NWA World Welterweight Champion twice during his career that spanned from 1934 until 1956. Okay. Of course, he died in 1983, so he was probably retired from the ring during this time.
I would say so, yeah.
So, obviously, you can't really find video of this guy anywhere. But I thought the cool thing about this was he was actually the wrestler who invented in Mexico the abdominal stretch.
No way.
Yes.
So he was the first person to ever do that.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. So he apparently, there's a Spanish word for that, but basically it translates into corkscrew, which is not the corkscrew that we see nowadays in wrestling, which is more like a flip off the top rope.
Right? Flippy floppy aerial move. Yeah.
But he does like the Mexican version of the abdominal stretch, which he basically called the corkscrew in America.
Okay. All right.
So, you know, like I said, like I'm not like the huge, you know, historian about him, but he was a pretty famous wrestler in the really early 30s and 50s for Mexican light heavyweight competition. Okay. So he was actually very popular and a very successful wrestler too of his time. Let's see. Some of the stuff he's noticed for, like he on November 23rd, 1941, Jack O'Brien defeated Lobo Negro to win the Mexican National Welterweight Championship. O'Brien held the title for just over 4 months before losing it to Cislo Villegas. After the loss of the welterweight title, O'Brien began a long-running, very successful storyline feud with El Santo and Gory Guerrero, a team known as the Atomic Pair. So obviously he was a very highly, you know, dedicated wrestler in Mexico during that time. And unfortunately, on this date where the movie Blood Tie came out, he passed away. So I just wanted to bring him up a little bit. You know, pretty. Okay, the problem with wrestlers and stuff from the 30s and the 50s, there's very little videotape of them. So it's all like reading and historical facts you got to find. You know, got to read them off the internet of like, you know, what they are accomplishing more. But unfortunately, I really couldn't watch a match of this guy. It looks like he didn't. He's one of the Lucha Libres that didn't wear the mask, and he actually, you know, because there are some out there like not, you know, when you watch like, you know, Mexican wrestling, not every Mexican, you know, wrestler wears a luchador mask. You know what I mean? Some of them just come out with their normal faces, but they're still called luchadors. Okay. And a big thing that happens in Mexican Lucha Libre is when you have just a regular face, luchador face, a masked luchador, they'll usually have a feud. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times their feuds will end in a mask versus hair match, where the masked wrestler would put up his mask. If he loses, he would take off his mask. If the regular face one lose, he would lose his hair. So it's both very embarrassing for both of them. Okay? And apparently our boy Jack O'Brien, he actually lost one of those matches too. He actually had to shave his head at one time. So.
Yeah, exactly. And because that happens, you know, and you can always tell though, like, like in this mask versus mask or hair versus hair mask or mask versus hair, especially, you can always tell who's going to win. Because the masked luchador who's young and upcoming is not going to lose his mask ever.
Well, you know.
But if one of them is like 55 and one of them's like 24, the one that's 55 is going to lose. Like, remember a few years ago when Dr. Wagner Jr. was in a mask versus mask match and, you know, he lost to Psycho Clown, I think. Yeah. So, you know, you knew Psycho Clown wasn't going to give up his mask. But yeah, but I always like the mask versus mask and mask versus hair matches. And in any mask versus hair match, the guy almost always loses his hair. Almost always. Yeah.
I wonder if
they can fix that.
I wonder if they'll bring that up to like, you know, WWE now, because, you know, they bought AAA. So they're still gonna do those matches in AAA, but I wonder if they'll ever bring that up. Like, you know, I think like a hair. They were talking about for the longest time that they're going to have Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio do a mask versus hair match, which I think that would have been a pretty good one to do. Still,
which will have Dom lose his hair finally.
Yeah, or either Rey Mysterio will unmask again.
That won't happen.
That won't happen. Maybe not until he retires.
I'm not for that because I don't want to see either one of those things happen. I love Dom's Eddie Guerrero hair.
Yeah.
He's doing Eddie Guerrero like 1996 right now, and I love it. I love everything he's doing.
So
fantastic.
But cool stuff, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully on this show program, we'll talk a little bit more about Lucha Libre, Mexican wrestling. I'd like to do more research on it. It's just, like I said, this one was kind of hard. I just thought it was very interesting because I don't, you know, we rarely talk about wrestlers from that long ago, like 1936 to like 1950s and stuff. It's just because, you know, that's not really our era at all. Like
no, not at all.
Like even for us, going back into the 70s is kind of hard to watch wrestling and get videotape from there. So getting stuff from like the 30s or 50s is basically impossible. But it is pretty interesting to see some of these inventors, some of these moves that we see all the time or used to see all the time. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested in what old wrestling like that was like.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling like watching that would just be extremely boring to us now, when we're trying to compare it to
because even
80s or 90s wrestling.
Because even Lucha Libre in the 30s and 50s is way different than how it is now. You know, obviously, the Lucha Libre style is a lot more fast paced, a lot more jumps and flips. You know what I mean? They don't really have a lot of like Matt storyline. But, you know, even like the 30s and 50s, obviously the flips and the acrobatics are going to be way different than it is, you know, nowadays, or even when it was even in the 80s, it's going to be changed. Wrestling always changes, you know, no matter where you go, Japan, Mexico, United States, Canada, wherever you go, the wrestling always changes throughout the decades of the styles and what they do. You know, what's cool nowadays is a lot of wrestlers will mix a lot of styles together. You know, we didn't really get that in the 90s too much. You know, when we were watching wrestling in the 90s, the only place I could think about that really had like a mixture of wrestling together was probably ECW. Because even in WCW, yes, we did have all the luchadors and we did have some, you know, more harder hitting wrestlers. But you know, still on the top, it was still that American traditional style wrestling. But in ECW, you had all these like different styles all at once, you know. And WWF didn't even get any of that shit until like the late 2000s and stuff, where they started changing up their style some more.
Yeah, didn't Paul Heyman though? Didn't he influence WCW to bring this people in because he brought them in first?
Yeah, well, basically,
Eddie Guerrero was there, and
Yeah, the quick story behind that one, all right, was basically Paul Heyman wanted to bring in some Lucha Libre, to his, because he basically saw Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis. And he was like, well, I got to bring that shit to me. Like, they're going to love that over here. My audience is going to love that, which they did. Yeah. And they got that information from Conan, so Paul Heyman knew Conan. So we got Conan to bring the luchadors over there. And then when they started getting popular, Eric Bischoff started coming in there, and like they already did Worlds Collide. And then eventually Eric Bischoff's like, well, this Lucha Libre, it's been proven to be very exciting to the American audience. I can see it on ECW. I saw it on my Worlds Collide show. Let's bring them all in. And I'm going to basically bring them into WCW because they have that very quick, fast-paced wrestling style that I like for my TV. That's why they brought him in. So basically, Eric Bischoff just basically brought all the luchadors to WCW, basically from Conan, who Conan helped bring them all to there. So once Eric Bischoff got Conan to come to WCW, basically that's where all the luchadors came in through, was through Conan.
Yeah. And they all got a good payday.
Yeah, and that was exciting times, man. That was exciting times.
Yeah, it was. It was something I'd never seen before. I didn't even know there was Mexican wrestling before I saw them coming into WCW. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully the AAA guys will get a big payday, and hopefully WWE doesn't ruin what they have, because I really like their product. I really like AAA a lot. Yeah. And I hope that it stays good.
Yeah. They have good people out there, man. My boy Vampiro is still there.
Vampiro's still there. Conan's still there, I think.
Yeah. He doesn't really wrestle. Conan's more like the booker, so.
Oh, he's the booker, yeah.
But they have they have Vikingo. They have Australian Suicide. I think he's still there.
Yeah.
So
Psycho Clown.
All
the the Psycho Circus. Those are all. There's some good wrestling in Mexico right now. That's definitely. For sure.
All right, Alison. What do we got going on for the music/metal? We gotta say music/metal now because we don't always talk about metal.
Yeah, and we're not talking about metal tonight again either, but we're talking about something interesting, though, I wanted to mention, because it's another band that we're not going to get a lot of chances to talk about, probably. And we're still stuck in 1981, 1982, which we've done a lot of. But I did want to mention September the 22nd was the first date of the Who's quote-unquote farewell tour. So this was intended to be... The Who, yeah, they're supposed to be the Who, exactly. Yeah, it's like turning into Who's on First.
Who? I feel like Fry. I feel like the character Fry right now. Remember when he was like drunk, like after he saved that girl, he was all drunk and shit, and he was all like, they were like asking him a question, he was like, what the hell?
Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to mention that this was on the 25th, which is the night after this movie premiered in Bergen, New Jersey, 2 hours, we'll say, to the southeast. The Who played at the JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. It was the third night of their farewell tour, even though they would come back like 6 years later and do another tour, and they're still together to this day. But they were touring, and we often talk about these 60s, 70s bands that were having a hard time navigating the new landscape of the 1980s, and how it was really hard for them to not appear old because we had all this new modern looking neon stuff. The Who is not one of those bands. They somehow were able to translate really well. They were still really popular. I mean, they were still selling out football stadiums. I mean, they sold out Shea Stadium in New York City, where the Mets play 2 nights in a row. And I think mostly that was because punk rock was still popular. The Clash was the opener on this tour. So they played an hour set before the Who played. And I feel like the Who was a huge influence on punk rock. And I could see how, someone who liked the Clash or the Ramones or the Sex Pistols or a band like that could see how the Who was a similar type sound. So they almost, even though their music was from the 60s and the 70s, they almost translated into the 80s too, with that kind of punk new wave sort of sound. But anyway, so they were playing their farewell tour. This was the third night of the tour with the Clash opening. A really good friend of mine actually went to see the Shea Stadium tour, one of the shows in Shea Stadium with the Clash opening.
Okay, wow.
And you can actually watch this show, the Shea Stadium show. You can actually watch it on YouTube. You can watch the Clash's set, and you can watch the Who's set. But it's just amazing to see like a band that big, like selling out a baseball stadium or a football stadium in the case of JFK Stadium, and then just calling it quits like the same year. And they're saying like, well, we're just not going to do this anymore.
Like
I think that's amazing.
We peaked, brother.
We've peaked. Yeah, that would be, I don't know. I think that's amazing, but there was if they never got back together, the Who would have been like this iconic, legendary band who retired on top, who retired at their peak.
Yeah.
But that never happens. They always come back, and then they're always kind of a shell of what they used to be. But this is a good show. Very short music/metal segment for tonight, but I did want to talk about the Who, and it's a good show if you watch it on YouTube. I watched it the other day in preparation for this. Nice. But yeah, I don't know if you're a fan of the Who, or if you ever listen to the Who, or if you even know who the Who is. But the
kind of.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it.
I know who the Who is. You know what I mean? I'm not like an avid Who listener, but I can respect them. You know what I mean? I know they're kind of like more of like the popular punk sound, I guess.
Kind of. I mean, you wouldn't even call it punk, really, because I mean they're from the '60s, but yeah, it has that like, that I don't know. It's just
British.
It's mod rock is what you would call it from the '60s, is what they called it, I think. But yeah, when you lifted up your arm, I thought you were going to be like, yeah, I've got a Who tattoo right here,
right there, brother. That's what that is. That tree.
But yeah, I just want to talk about that because we may not get a chance to talk about the Who again. I'm a huge fan of the Who. The Who live at Shea Stadium. It's on YouTube's. Watch it. It's free.
Check it out, everybody. The Who. For our podcast listeners, we'll be playing some The Who at the end of the show, brother. Okay. The Who. But I feel like the Fry Jones character right now. You know what I mean? I just love the voices he does. I'm not saying all this like cool like biblical shit that he does.
Oh yeah, I mean the way it's his voice, right?
I mean,
the way he delivers lines is just amazing.
And I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, he was like the best part of this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, I also like the guy from Karate Kid.
Yeah, he was all right. For
sweep the leg Johnny guy.
Yeah, he had nice looking hair. You see that thing?
Yeah.
What the hell was going on? It was like, I don't even know. It's better than my hair, I guess. All right. But anyway, let's get into who booked this shit, brother. Blood Tide. Very interesting movie.
Who booked this shit?
Unfortunately, unless it's like hidden out there, I'm not sure how they got James Earl Jones to be on this project. I really wanted to know. Like, it's not even in his like Wikipedia. This movie doesn't even come up anywhere when you talk about the guy. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. Like, I didn't see it in his Wikipedia page, his IMDb page, or nothing. I don't know if he's done any interviews about the movie before. When I was doing my research on it, I couldn't really find him saying anything about the movie. So it might be one of those things where he would just like get the cash grab or something. But he did a lot during this film, so which is interesting.
Yeah, he had a big part in it.
Yeah, exactly. So I just couldn't find anything about him. Unless I missed it. If y'all have something out there, maybe like just post it on the comments or something. But I could just not find him talk about this movie at all. Like it didn't even exist.
So what year did Conan come out? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can look this up. So it looks like
I want to say it's 1983, but I could be wrong. So in 1982, I'm not sure when this was shot, but in 1982, James Earl Jones was between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi playing Darth Vader.
Yes.
So Return of the Jedi would come out the next May. So he'd already filmed it by this point, I'm sure, and recorded his lines by the time this movie came out. But I'm not sure exactly when this movie was filmed.
So he did Conan. Looks like he did Conan the Barbarian. Looks like it came out the same year, 1982.
Okay.
So Conan the Barbarian came out on March 16th of 1982. All right, so it looks like it was
a few months before this.
Yeah, a few months before this movie, Conan came out. So yeah, I mean, I guess, he might have did this movie just maybe like right in between, because obviously Star Wars, he just did his voice. Okay.
Right. So he just went in a studio and just recorded his lines. Yeah.
But obviously in Conan, he was in the movie. So I'm guessing in between doing Conan and doing this movie, he probably just did these two movies for that year of 1982. Well, like 1981 probably, because then these movies came out, a couple months. Maybe they usually come out like a year later.
Yeah. So he probably shot them both in 1981. I'm guessing. But like sometimes those movies though are shot and they just sit around forever. That's why I was wondering if maybe this was shot like in 1979 or something, and it sat around for 3 years.
Yeah.
He also did Roots at some point in the 80s, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Roots was a very... like all them... Like he did some popular shit, man. Roots is very popular. Conan the Barbarian's very popular. Obviously, his voice acting in Star Wars is very popular. He was doing a lot of stage play. And then he has Blood Tide. Very interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, he was also in On Golden Pond. I mean, he was in
Coming to America. That's one of the
Coming to America.
One of the famous ones he did. Field of Dreams. I mean, fuck.
Field of Dreams. What I was trying to think of. He was in Field of Dreams.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, and that's all like later on the 80s and stuff. But man, I mean, like he's done like a ton of stuff. It's just very interesting to see him in this like style role. A Blood Tide, you know what I mean? Very interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said before, to me, he's, the bad guy in Conan, and he's Darth Vader. Even when I see him in Field of Dreams, I'm like, that's Darth Vader.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting that he was in this, and I mean, he's fantastic. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, very interesting. Very good get for one, Richard Jeffries, who actually directed this. So
the guy that,
go ahead.
I was gonna say he wrote Scarecrows, which we did on the show a while back.
Yes, check it out in the archives.
In the archives.
Yeah, man, check that out. So apparently, Blood Tide was his first movie. Very interesting. Obviously, like I said, he did Scarecrows, which was fun. Was that the TV show one? Like the TV made to movie?
No, that's the one where.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yep.
They crash in the cornfield.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Everybody took that out in the archives.
Movie. That was a great movie.
Yeah, and then apparently, like he did Action Impossible after this movie, Blood Tide, and then he got 14 going on 30. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the only other movie that I've noticed him. Yeah, well, I mean, I remember that movie Cold Creek Manor. He wrote that. That's the only other movie I can think of that I've seen that he did.
And of course, if we get out of the 80s. He did do the failed Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Which they're actually going to be doing another Fantastic Four. Is it this year or next year?
It's this year. It's this summer.
Oh, that should be fun. There you go.
Let's keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big Marvel blockbuster of this year. So that should be very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be the big movie of the year. Yep, for sure.
So there's not a whole lot about this movie I could find out there. So the film is also known as Demon Island.
Demon Island, yeah. That's the TV title, right?
It's a TV title, brother. All right. And apparently this film has been misconstructed as a public domain film and pirated by many distributors who copied it from DVDs. So interesting. However, as per the Copyright Office, copyright is registered under Omega Entertainment. And the writer-producer of the film, Nico Mastorakis, brother. Or I like to call him Greek Demon Cock. Yes. Okay. So some other stuff. So according to Mary Louise Weller, she's the one who played Shelley, Neil's squeeze. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The people working on the film had to deal with uncomfortable hot temperatures on the island, brother. It's like 115 to 125 degrees out there.
It gets hot in Greece.
Yeah. Lack of shade, lack of water, lack of electricity, and lack of screens to keep out the swarming insects. There was only one small restaurant in the local area, and people in the movie attempted to stay cool by sitting and laying in the ocean. So they're working hard out there, in the ocean beach, brother. All right, to give you guys that great cock, brother. It ain't gonna come easy.
No, it's not. But in the daytime, you get to lay in that warm Mediterranean water and
there you go.
Hang out at the Greek beaches. Oh, that sounds great.
You got to hang out with that hot girl, Barbara. Who played Barbara? She was a good one on here. Hold on. Barbara was played by Lindell Cornell. All right. And she did look kind of familiar. But I guess it said that she's best known for her role as Sarah Rush, on the ABC comedy Too Close for Comfort. Did you watch that a lot, Alison? Too Close for Comfort?
I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen that show. The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I remember that show at all.
Yes.
She does look really familiar, though.
Well, she's been in some other stuff. She was in singles episodes of television like The Love Boat, Charlie's Angels. She was in Full House for a second. Night Rider. Okay. She's been on a bunch of TV shows making like guest appearances.
So I've probably seen her on TV shows.
Film-wise, it looks like this is the only movie she did in the 80s. 1982, Blood Tide. And then her next movie wouldn't be Miss Supreme Queen. That would be her next movie in 1999. But it looks like she's mostly a TV actress.
Doing a lot of guest roles. It looks like.
She was in the Dukes of Hazzard. There you go.
Yeah, she was in Full House for one episode.
Full House, brother. All right. Let's see. Photoplay magazine in 1980 reported that Jeff Briggs would be the lead. So apparently they were wrong.
Apparently so.
Because we had the what's his name that played the lead?
The guy that played
Neil.
Martin Kove.
Yeah, we have Martin Kove.
I believe that's how you say his name. He played John Creasy in Karate Kid.
There you go. Yeah.
He was the bad guy in Karate Kid. Yeah. Yeah, remember Sweep the Leg, Johnny. That's him.
So apparently this film was in a rotation of it was part of a string of low budget horror films. All right, starring José Ferrer. All right.
Yeah, he's a very famous actor.
Yeah. He played the mayor, didn't he? He was like the mayor character in this film.
Yes.
And they included Crash, 1976, The Sentinel, 1977, Alison's favorite, Dracula's Dog, 1977, Bloody Birthday, which we probably got to do in this show. That sounds fun, 1981, and The Being, 1981.
Yeah. We'll probably end up doing The Being as well. Sentinel is a great film. I have that on Blu-ray. I love that movie. I think it is on Shudder right now if anybody has that and wants to watch it.
So, let's see. All right, so this is there's not too much. Basically, they changed the cover on one. And they were saying too, like, so the movie refers to as Blood Tide, one word, and Blood Tide, 2 words. All right, the later being the least used, although in the actual opening credits the title has 2 words. So they can't figure out if the movie is 1 word, Blood Tide, or if it's 2 words, Blood Tide. So, very interesting. And apparently, I thought this was kind of interesting, but this is like very stretching it because there's barely that much about this film. So apparently, this is the second movie in which Mary Louise Weller, Shelley, plays a character alongside a pretty blonde named Barbara. All right. The first was National Lampoon's Animal House. She was in that one, and there was a character named Barb, aka Barbara, is played by Lindale Cornell, here by Martha and then the other Barbara was in Animal House, was played by Martha Smith. So both her characters have had playing against Barbara characters. Okay, so that's kind of fun, I guess. I wonder how come we didn't get an explanation of why there was a wolf cock on here.
I think that you're just supposed to infer what that is. It's just we'll talk about it when we get there. I'll try to explain it when we get there.
I mean, I want to know who drew that thing. I want to give them some credit.
Yeah, it is good art.
How come they don't have me do these questions for these guys? I want to know the details, brother. You know what I mean? Where's this Jeffrey guy at? I wonder if he does conventions. This Richard Jeffries. Because I would be, bro, I'm swear, if this guy did, I would be the first. I mean, I would just be like, hey, I got a question, brother. I'd be like, listen, man.
Who drew the wolf cock?
Listen, I got to know. You had 3 paintings in Blood Tide. Okay? The first one, I don't think we saw, but we saw the second layer one. It kind of looked like a creature with fighting Jesus. That's what it looked like to me. All right? Then you peel back the layers. The painting before Jesus even came to this earth. You had a giant Greek wolf cock demon and some girl who's about to take some wolf semen on there.
Exactly.
What is going on here? And explain that to me. Thank you, Jeffries. And then he would tell me his answer, or he would kick me out. One of the two. Right. Okay. So.
I bet the Karate Kid guy does conventions, and I would definitely ask him about this movie.
Yes.
It's like, do you have any Blood Tide things that you can sign for me? I don't want your Karate Kid stuff.
Bro, what if I brought the wolf cock picture to him to sign?
To him to sign it? That'd be fantastic.
Oh, there you go.
Will you sign this?
What the hell? How did you find this?
How did you find this?
It's called
I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't in that movie.
It's called the internet. That's how I found that motherfucker. All right. Well, anyway, like I said, there's not a whole lot about this movie unless maybe there's some special DVD I don't have out there. But like I said, I did enjoy this movie. I know you did too, Alison. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the full review of Blood Tide.
Before the dawn of civilization, in the early light of man's existence, life was an eternal struggle between good and evil. The ancients knew the way to placate the beast that lurked beneath the eternal sea. Sacrifice. Virgin sacrifice.
It is not often that visitors happen on Sinner. You are on Greek soil.
What's going on here, Madden? I come to this crazy island to look for you.
Why do?
And your friend here takes a knife to my throat.
The natives here aren't exactly friendly.
You don't like people to take things out of the water.
It's down there. I saw it. What new evil are you trying to conjure up now? There is no such thing as new evil. Evil has always been with us. The same evil that you roused from its ancient sleep. You do your voodoo on your own people. Time is running out for all of us.
All right, so we start off with a narrator telling us what is happening in biblical style terms. Before man, there was evil. All right, evil has always been part of this earth. Before man even knew what evil was. The way they used to deal with evil is doing some rituals to satisfy evil's needs, giving them young, hot virgins. Not those ugly ones. We don't take ugly virgins around here, brother, in horror movies.
No, they have to be hot.
You kidding me? You got to be, you got to have some nice titties. You got to have a nice slim body to be in our virgin temple. All right? So during all this speech, all right, our narrator is telling us, and then we can see our main character, whose name's going to be Madeline, I believe her name was. Let me see here.
Yeah. Madeline.
Yes, Madeline. And she has the cross thing around her forehead and shit, and she's getting lured into the Virgin Demon Temple.
Yes.
With the same symbol. And on a little handmade boat. She's about to be sacrificed to the evil non-wolf cock demon. Now, Alison, I got a question. Exactly. I got a question for you, Alison. So when we're sacrificing somebody, right, on our native Greek, we're on a native Greek island, right? And the way to calm down the evil that happens around this island and in the earth, we have to take a young hot virgin, not ugly one, hot one. We got to put her on like a little man-made boat, and we gotta sail her off to the demon virgin temple. Okay.
Yes.
But when we see the creature, it kind of looks like the creature you would see in like the Goonies. You know what I mean?
Right.
What level is the wolfcock Greek demon at? Where does he come in? Is he like second to last? Like, does he get like what is he? Who does the virginary first? Is it the Goonies creature or is it the Greek wolfcock creature?
No. I like the maybe it's just me, but I like the Greek wolfcock creature more than the Goonies creature, looked like, for sure.
Yeah, he looked like he was ready to go. You know what I mean? We don't really.
He was ready to go.
We don't see him too much. We see him a little bit. We don't see him too much. All right. So anyway, they sacrifice her. She falls down. Then we cut. All right, and this is when we meet our young couple. Was going to be Neil, which we're going to find out is Madeline's brother. All right, and Shelley, which is Neil's recent wife. All right. And they have gone to this island, this Greek island, to find his sister because his sister has been missing. And she hasn't been, she didn't tell everybody where she's at. She hasn't checked in with the family or anything like that. So he's going to go find her and check in and make sure everything's okay. Now, I do like this line, Alison. When they first entered the island, our girl Shelley is like, hey, I'm going to find this music because I'm trying to seduce you.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, brother. You know, back in the day, brother, these 80s girls, they were ready to party, man. All right. So now they're walking around the island. They see that nobody's there. And they eventually get scared by a flying cat.
Yeah.
But you don't get scared by flying cats? You don't care?
So I was a little bit shocked at this because I'm pretty sure that when they filmed this, they just picked up a cat and threw it in the air.
Yeah, you don't do that?
Like
they don't fly cats in the air?
They just threw a cat in the air and hopefully it didn't die.
Yeah, I mean, and then like
I have a feeling they probably didn't get that right the first time they threw the cat either, so they probably had to do it several times.
And the best part is like when Shelley's like, I don't think you should be doing that with the cats.
No shit.
All right, and then they turn around. This is when they see the mayor, who his name is Nearest. Nearest, the mayor.
Yeah.
So Nearest tells them, hey, y'all came up here in the boat. We don't get a lot of visitors on here. We don't like your evil man-made items of boats. Apparently Greeks never had boats before. Or something.
I guess.
Because he doesn't like boats. All right, and you know, he's basically, this is when Neil's getting serious. He's like, hey, I want to find my sister. You know, my sister's supposed to be here. And Neil, he was all like, what is your sister into? And he was like, oh, she likes painting and art. And I was like, oh my God, another one? How many fucking horror movies that all the women do are paint and do art? It's like 1,000 of them right now.
I think that's like a common like thing in horror movies to show connection with the next world or something. I don't know.
So now we find out that his sister is the virgin who got sacrificed. All right, because they show a picture and it's the exact same face. All right. And then, of course, the mayor is saying this is not a place for artists at all. I was like, I could tell. So he's basically saying he can't leave. All right. And then now they bring up his butler or servant guy. And apparently he is named after the Greek god of wine and liquor.
Mm.
There you go, brother. The god of beer and wine.
Dionysus, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Dionysus and stuff. And then Shelley, she knows that. All right. And then they all have a shot together. Okay. And then it basically, the mayor wants them to leave. Okay. We have Madeline. We see her. She's still alive. And she's looking at a coin. So now Neil and Shelley are walking at nighttime. Neil doesn't believe anything they're saying. He believes his sister is still there. Okay. They see a female walking. They think it might be Madeline. So they go follow her. And they follow her all the way. And I could not believe my ears when I heard this. They followed her all the way to Darth Vader's lair.
Yep.
So
exactly.
If we're mixing movies together, do you think, okay, I you know what? You know, technically, these movies could be mixed. This and Star Wars. I'll give you two reasons.
In the same universe?
In the same universe. So, maybe what they did was, you know, when Fry, which we'll find out, Fry is the man who sounds like Darth Vader, maybe he recorded his voice because he is a scientist. Remember, he's a scientist of the people that do like the ocean. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Fry?
Yeah, Fry.
He's like I thought he was like a treasure hunter.
Well, no. He does the treasure hunting. He knows there's treasure there, but he also studies the bottom of the ocean and stuff. That's also
okay. You're right. All right.
Yeah.
You're right. He's also an oceanographer.
So maybe,
or whatever,
maybe he recorded a bunch of tapes, and then when people from the outside universe of Star Wars found his voice, they're like, you know what? That'd be a great voice to put in a robot helmet, and that's the same helmet that Anakin Skywalker used.
Maybe.
There we go. And we got some sister and brother kissing going on later on too, but we'll get there. All right. So now, basically, Fry, all right, is there saying he's talking to Madeline about like sinning and stuff, and she's going to be disregarded to the gates of hell. All right. Now Lee walks in. He gets a knife to the throat. Madeline's like, hey, no, that's my brother. Fry says some stuff about thou shalt not kill brother and stuff. And then he stops. And then they all drink some wine. They start eating some meat and they all start talking together. All right. So they're all eating around the fire.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's a big, and then Fry's like, oh, this is just some big family reunion. All right. And he's all like, you know, talk about the knife to the throat. Apparently, they start talking about how Neil was some sort of like actor in school. All right. And Fry, in his Darth Vader voice, is basically saying, these natives up here are not friendly. Madeline's gone. And, you know, Madeline is basically she talks more to the natives than Fry does. Okay, because of her paints and drawings. Okay, and then Neil basically says like, "Hey, I am now married to Shelley, and this is basically our honeymoon." I was like, "Oh shit, okay, that's an interesting honeymoon." All right.
Yeah.
And Fry said, "Well, at least," and then this is when this is basically when Frey says that, well, at least the brother sounds, he's like the straight one in the family, at least. All right. And this is when we get the appearance of Barbara. She's here. And I put in my notes, on hot 80s blonde walks in on a native, crazy, non-speaking English island.
Yes. So she is there. Wait a minute. So Madeline, do they use the word natives, or is that just a word you use?
No, they use native. They use natives a lot.
Okay.
They use natives.
So
all right.
Because they make it sound like, I mean, they're in Greece, so
Yeah.
this is part of Europe. It's they make it sound like they're on some like remote voodoo island that we've talked about in Zombie and
there
stuff
will
like
be
that.
some voodoo here,
but there's some strange voodoo. I think this movie would have made more sense if it took place in like the Caribbean on one of those voodoo islands.
Yeah, exactly.
Than it would have made in Greece. I think that would have made way more sense than what we're trying to do here.
Yeah,
or in South America or somewhere maybe, But yeah, anyway, so back to the story. So yeah, Barbara shows up, the hot 80s blonde.
Yeah.
That we get to see a lot of in this movie.
Yeah.
Who's definitely there for a reason.
Yeah. 18 to 34 male. That's why she's here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We don't care if this is a non-speaking island of doom. We got to have a hot 80s blonde somewhere, brother. Come on.
Exactly.
Right. So she's complaining about Fry making her do things, mainly skinning fish. All right. And she's getting tired of it and every stuff. Nelly and Sherry are looking all weird at her. All right. And, and she's basically saying like, she's like, hey, you guys have had that boat over here? They're like, yeah, that's our boat that came in here. All right. And then she says like, hey, be careful if you're trying to scuba dive around here, because the natives, they don't like it when you scuba dive around here. They only want to do fish by getting fishes. They look down on scuba diving. I'm like, what the fuck? All right. So now, you could tell that Frey and that Barbara are also kind of like a couple, I guess. Okay. And Frey says like, yes, I'm the one that I work below, and your sister Madeline, she works above. Okay. But he's like, Madeline, can you tell us what you found above? Tell us what you found above, and tell us what the nuns think about what you thought above. All right. Of course, Madeline doesn't say anything because she's possessed by a Greek cock monster. So she excuses herself out of the room. All right. And then Barbara. All right. And then basically Frey tells Barbara to shut up because he's a man. All right. I like my notes here. The wine god name guy takes them to their chambers. All right. Neil wants a massage.
Yeah.
Shelley now gives him a hard massage, saying you like S&M now because they're married.
I guess so, yeah.
Nellie goes over the day's events, thinks his sister has gone nuts. They start kissing. All right. And then no shit, they said, well, I heard Mexico's worse.
Wow.
I was like, what the fuck? Okay. What did they ever do to you in Mexico? Come on now. All right. I don't think Mexico has any cock. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. So Sally says Fry's giving her. So basically, Shelly's like, well, maybe your boy Fry is giving your sister some good drugs, because it sounds like your sister's on drugs.
Right.
So now we're at the boat. It's nighttime, and it's Fry and Barbara. All right. Barbara doesn't feel like being on the boat because she feels like she's walking on water. All right. And she was already on the boat all day cleaning fish, so she doesn't want to go there. Fry, in his Darth Vader, James Earl Jones voice, sweet talks her.
Yeah.
Gives her to take a little kiss because he wants to be with her all night. And then he's like, hey, give me the box of fishes. It's not a box of fishes. It's a box of explosions. Explosions, because it says it on the box. Explosions. All right, so now Neil's still kissing. All right, and then they hear a noise. It's a boat. Shelly says, don't worry about it. Nobody's trying to steal your boat, which they don't. All right. So now Fry is in his flippers because he's going to go scuba diving. All right. Fry's going below. Says the place to you go to is scares her. Barbara, it's the place that he goes scares her. And Fry now says a long time ago it was up. Basically, he was saying a long time ago the place I'm going to was up on the earth. Then an earthquake happened, and now it's below.
Right.
All right.
So now it's under the water is what he means, right? Yeah.
So he goes under there. Fry is now going into the underground lair. And this is where he finds all his treasures, his coins treasures. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the coin treasures are right next to the Virgin Temple of Doom that we saw in the beginning of the film.
How convenient.
How convenient. All
You
right.
only have to go to one place.
And now he gets his explosions ready. He does some more religious talk that I couldn't really write down because I didn't understand it.
Sure.
Barbara waits around. Sorry. And Madeline, she's looking on, and Frey is basically saying, "It must die," and then he blows up the place. Well, before he blows up the taste, he does say "Good luck, Jack Danielson," because he does drink a shit ton. Bro, he was drunk as shit most of this movie.
Yeah.
So he blows up the place. So he basically blows up the Virgin Temple, and the only thing that happens is smoke appears. All right? And then he's saying, "Another day." So basically, Fry knows what's going on. He knows there's some sort of creature in that Virgin Temple island because he knows that the Virgin Madeline has been taken over by his Virgin Greek powers. So he knows all this is going on. So Madeline, she can't sleep. She remembers her ritual. That this is the first notion or first scene that we got to see the cock monster, cock being worshipped in our picture that we showed earlier. All right. That might be in my dreams tonight there, Alison. That picture.
I wouldn't be surprised if you dreamed about the cock tonight.
Would that be a great Retro Blood shirt? Just that image with our faces near it?
It says James dreams about the cock on the back. Sure.
I've been summoned. All right. All right. So now all the group now they're all at the beach in the morning time. Barbara really likes Neil's device of scuba diving. All right. Frey now wants a watermelon, so he demands Barbara to give him a watermelon. We have Shelley wondering what Madeline is doing. She's like meditating. But now Frey's like, "Give me some loaf of bread now, woman." And I was like, you know what?
Well, she's not meditating, right? She's like in a trance.
She's like a trance, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what they thought she was doing, meditating.
Well, okay, right. I guess they thought she was meditating.
But also, I want to ask you, like, I know he was kind of an asshole, but like, with that voice from Fry, like, I would do some stuff for him too. I'm like, man,
no, Fry was the coolest guy in this movie. I don't care what anybody says.
It's like, you're being a kind of an asshole, but man, that voice is so cool. Like, I'll get you some watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
And I love how he doesn't cut the watermelon open. He just smashes it with his fist and eats part of it. Yeah.
So, yeah. So now there's two things that happen, basically. So Shelley now goes to Madeline and says, like, "Hey, your brother hasn't seen you for a long time. I haven't seen you for a long time. We didn't really know what to get you, so we got you some of this expensive perfume." Okay?
Yes, which they give to her on the beach for some reason.
Yes, for on the beach. Well, she does. All right. And so Madeline takes it. She pours it all over her. Remember, because she's tranced by the cock. Remember? So she acts weird. She's pouring all over her face and everything. And Shelley's like, "That's expensive." All right. And of course, the whole time Frey's just laughing. That's when he smashes the watermelon and everything. Because he's like, "I don't need no knife. I'm a man." All right.
Just smash it.
Yeah, smashes everything. So after all this is done, and Shelley's freaked out, and then Barbara goes up to her, and then Shelley's like, why do you let him talk to you like that? And Barbara's like, "Well, he has one of those things." And they start like laughing, and then like Shelley's like, "Oh yeah, Neil over there, he has one of those things too." Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
This is
I got one of them Greek cocks too, brother.
Oh yeah.
Tag me in. I'm ready.
Tag you in.
Right.
You could just take over for Fry.
Woo. Bro, that barber girl is looking pretty nice in this movie too. God, man.
Yeah.
I was like, Fry. Maybe remember James Earl says, "Who am I working with in this film?" And they showed her a picture of her. It's like, sign me up, brother. I'm there.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. How much you pay me? I don't care. All right.
I don't care.
All right. All right. So now after all this stuff, all right, and Fry also calls her crazy. All right, she's crazy, Madeline. So now we have Neil, Shelley, and Fry. They're on the boat and everything, and now Shelley is complaining to Neil about his sister pouring that perfume all over herself, and this is when they get stuck for a second. Fry goes out, takes a look. This is when he first finds his black, kind of like black, what do they call that? Sea sewage, I guess, on there.
Sea sewage, well, it's like a oily, blacky, black goo.
Yeah, black goo stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All so because he scuba dives down to find out what the motor caught on, right? Yeah.
And he comes up there and he says like, one of your fins is broken. Of course, Neil's like, that can't be true. We're above 300 feet of water, and I bought the best equipment money could buy.
Even though when he's scuba diving under the boat, you can clearly see the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, no.
In the frame, so they're definitely not 300 feet above the
maybe
ocean bottom.
This is 1982, brother. They don't got the radar detectors yet. All right, come on now. So they go back to the island. This is when the mayor is going to meet them. What's his name? Nissus or something? He's there. All right. And he's saying like, hey, one of our young native girls went missing. Y'all know anything about that? And they're like, no, man. It's like, and then like Fry's like, you accusing us? We were about a mile off the port. How are we going to hit her? So they basically, the natives think they hit her. And that's why she's like, that's why the boat's all messed up, because they thought they hit the girl. All right. And then basically the mayor's like, okay, well, no more boats and stuff. And he threatens them all with a gun. All right. And then Fry's like, you all are crazy. I'm not dealing with you. So now we have Madeline. She is talking to her nun. Okay. Nunnery. A nun's on here.
Yeah.
The main nun wants to see her. Naaman talks about her brother and the missing girl. All right. They bring up the sun. I like my notes on here. They bring up the sun, the wind, and some Christian stuff. They talk about her reading and her findings of God for herself. So apparently, Madeline's spiritual journey here in the Greeks island, she has found the right God for herself. And I think we know which God that is, brother.
Yeah, the wolf cock God.
And let's just say he's standing at attention all the time, brother. Okay? And she's like, I found this painting, and due to my great artistry, I have found paint stripping materials so I can go underneath the painting to see more. So this is when she brings up the painting of it looks like the wolf, it looks like a creature fighting Jesus, basically. Okay, that's the first picture, okay, that she runs into.
Yeah, it's like a serpent type creature, right?
It basically looks like the creature. Yeah, this one looks like the creature. That's why I thought it was like a two-step layer. Maybe like you first get the creature from the Goonies, like the one we saw in this picture. Then you get the wolf cock. All right.
Well, yeah, that was definitely underneath it because
it's kind of like a video game.
So it's right. So she finds it because they're taking off like layers off the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she finds it painted, and it's basically like a saint fighting a snake creature, kind of.
Yeah.
And don't they say it's been there longer? It's older than Christianity.
Yeah,
and it's been there longer than Christianity has existed.
Yeah, something about like Michael kills a dragon. There's a third layer. Wait till we get there. Painting, and it says it deserves. She basically says like, don't do this. You should just come back to communion. Stop trying to find Greek cock monsters and come back to communion.
Yeah, right? It's always a good idea not to look for the cock monsters.
Yeah, come on now. All right, so let's see. Oh, well, the thing that she was saying that predates Christianity was the wood that was on the painting itself. I don't know how she told that, but that was one of the things.
Right, but I thought that meant yeah, she did say that, but I thought that meant that the painting had been there longer than Christianity had existed.
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah.
So it's like a pre-Christian painting, basically. Yeah. So she's saying that the Catholics didn't paint it there, essentially.
We know what they were into, brother. They were into some freaky shit, brother.
Yeah, and we definitely find out more about that later, for sure.
All right, so now the nuns tell her with one body of all this Christ stuff. All right, now we have some good stuff here, bro. This is when so basically the 18 to 34 males are about to leave the movie because they're like, okay, unless you show me this wolf cock again, we're gonna leave. But then we switch over to Barbara, and they're like, okay, we'll stay. So Barbara's here. She's on the beach. She's feeding some bread to I don't even know what, the birds on the water or something. I
think so. Yeah.
She plays her boombox with some bad 80s music. And then she starts to work out, brother. And she's like,
with her 1980s aerobics or whatever she's doing.
She's like doing this thing with her leg.
Yeah.
You saw a little bit of there, you know what I mean? Right there.
It's like the Jane Fonda workout.
Yeah. So she's doing all her aerobics and shit. All right. And while she's doing that, Neil and Shelby are looking at the guy who's guarding their boat. And Neil thinks he thinks he should have a machine gun because all he has is a dumb camera. All right.
Right.
And then Shelby's like, well, maybe they have a radio somewhere around here. All right. I think it comes with my favorite scenes in the film. So we have some of the natives taking a little stroll. All right, around their native land. And I didn't see a whole lot of native females around here, maybe one or two.
Well, they sacrificed them all.
Yeah, that's true. They sacrificed all of them. So they walk over here, these three guys, and they start looking at Barbara. And they're like, holy shit. If there's a god right now, she might be a blonde, hot goddess because she is getting me going, brother.
Yeah.
All right. So she takes off her shirt so slowly. She gets into the water. All the native guys are like, you know what? Maybe that wolfcock guy was right. You know what I mean? Just show up there erect, see what happens. All right, but then Barbara turns around. Hey, you old perverts, what are you looking at? All right, you dirty old man perverts. I didn't think you liked me. I thought you liked little boys. And I was like, oh, fuck. She just totally killed all these guys' dreams. Old guys are like, oh, shit. Maybe she's right.
Maybe she's right.
Damn it. So, but then she's swimming in the water. And of course, just like Jaws, which we may or may not be talking about later on, hint, hint.
Maybe. Hint,
all right,
maybe.
Basically takes her down underwater. And I put in my notes, the virgin dick monster drags her down.
Yep.
All right. Drags her down to the abyss of the virgin death lair, even though she's not a virgin, obviously.
Obviously.
Yes. So now Frey's drinking again. Maybe I should do a drinking game of him drinking because he drank a lot in this film. He's drinking.
That'd be a good drinking game.
So Frey's drinking. He's all like, beaten path. The man off the beaten path. Well, if you're what do you say? He's all like, man off the beaten path, but if you're better than the path, you won't be a beaten man. Ha ha ha.
Uh-huh.
He's telling all that to the wine god named guy. All right. All right, and then now we have one of those old pervert guys from earlier trying to tell the town mayor about Barbara drowning. And he's saying it all in Greek and shit. All right. And then, of course, Frey comes out. What the hell's going on over here? Is this Labor Day weekend? All right. When I say it, it sounds stupid, but when he says it, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, when he says it sounds cool.
So basically, they're saying there's a shark that attacked a girl. And they ask, is it the missing girl? They say no. And then they look at Frey. All right. And then the mayor says, it looks like a shark attacked Barbara this morning and gives Frey all of her stuff. And of course, Frey is like, oh, shit. All right. And then Frey, in another great line he says, because he has all the great lines in this movie, he says,
yeah,
there's no goddamn sharks in these waters.
Which is weird because I'm pretty sure there's sharks in Greece, but I'm not a scientist.
But they're not in these waters. They're not in these waters, Alison. There's no sharks
right,
here.
fine.
What did these natives old perverts do to Barbara?
Exactly.
All right. So now they found the missing girl, but it's not Barbara. All right. And then Fred looks around and he keeps screaming for Barbara, Barbara, Barbara. And now we see some native people of the village. And then now we see some nuns walking around praying over caskets. And there's 2 caskets. So I guess they did find Barbara. And they're also walking with the fuck. What's her name? Madeline.
Madeline. Yeah, Madeline.
They also see her walking with Madeline as well too. So this is actually this is probably my favorite scene in this film. All right. So they're at the funeral section, right? All right. The bodies are there. The town mayor, all right, Nearest. He's like, all right, stop everything. Goes over to the casket. Goes over to the native girl. You know what I mean? Gets the casket. Breaks it open. People are like, oh, what the fuck you doing? It's like, don't worry about it. I got this. Breaks open the casket. Has a little shiny coin. All right. Maybe this coin is like, that is your trip to Wolf Virgin Land.
Well, yeah. I mean, he says that it's like the coin for Charon's boat, right? Which is a Greek story about taking your body to the underworld or whatever, and you have to pay him with a coin. So that's what that coin is for. But yeah.
So he gives the coin to the native girl, right? Close the casket, all good. Then he's all like, maybe I'll go to that second casket and give her a coin. So he's heading over there. Fry, drunk probably, freaks out. And in the best line of this whole fucking film, don't you do any of that voodoo shit on her.
Yeah.
Voodoo has returned to the retro blood, and I'm excited about it. Finally has come back to the retro blood. All right. He's back with it. All right. Voodoo is back. All right. So basically, he ends up giving her the coin. All right. Frey's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You do your voodoo on your own people. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So they open up Barbara's casket, gives the voodoo coin to her. All right. And then, of course, Frey says, you stupid old bastard. Okay. So now Shelley and Neil go to Fry's boat. Okay. And Fry is going to go down to his hidden Virgin Temple lair. So he goes down there. And Shelley thinks this is a bad idea because the natives and them all think that everybody died by a shark. So she's like, why is he going down there when there's like a shark-infested lair? Shark-infested waters down there. He could die. All right. So Frey goes back there. Frey goes to this whole temple. He sees the black stuff again. All right. So now Shelley and Neil are arguing about him going down there. All right. And then she's saying, like, we also don't have enough diesel fuel to even make it back and stuff. Okay. So now Neil sees so now Neil's like, basically Shelley's like, I'm not going, you're not going into the water. And then of course Neil does. He goes into the water. Okay.
Right.
He sees the rope that leads him to the Virgin Temple lair. He goes in the lair, and this is when he gets confronted by Fry in here, saying, how did you know to get in here? Because Fry, when he went to his lair, he saw that all his equipment has been messed with. All right, it's all been broken and stuff. Like all his explosives and everything have all been tampered with. All right. And now Fry is giving Neil some shit, saying, like, you're just crazy, just like your sister. You're just some rich kid trying to get his kicks off. What is your politics? I was like, that's a weird question to ask when you're in like some Virgin Temple lair. What's your politics?
At that moment.
Why are you sticking around here and stuff? And of course, Neil says, I don't give a shit about all this stuff. I just came here to, I never heard about this place before. I just came here to find my sister. All right. And he said, you didn't screw up my gear. All right. Then he starts freaking out, saying like, "Hey, you need to get off this island now. All right. And I'm gonna take my treasures and get off this island now. All right." And he's like, I gotta get my sister off here first. And Fry says, "Your sister? Who do you think brought me here? Your sister is the one who brought me to this virgin temple layer, and she showed me this place." Okay. She said, like, yes, Madeline has found this place, not for me. All right. She just said she didn't find this place for me. She said she found it for her. All right. And this place, like it's getting to me right now, it's eventually going to get to you. No.
Exactly.
All right. We already buried 2 women. One of them I was quite fond of. Madeline, when she uncovered the 3rd layer of the picture, that's when we get our famous one. Our famous Wolfman cock picture. All right. And then right when that one happened, she started freaking out. And that's when, she starts freaking out about this one, right, too.
Yeah, because it's like well, the way I took it is like it's some kind of like ancient Greek fertility god or something that's going to like, impregnate these virgins or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. After they try to find his sister, this is when we get a scene of native kids doing some native dancing around some rocks. And it looks like they were going to do that same ritual from earlier in the movie that got done to Madeline. All right. And one of the little kids, like they draw a little symbol on her head and they're like dancing around in a circle. The mom is freaking out. That's by there. Mm-hmm. Eventually the girl falls into the ocean. Fry, who's already drunk, all right, drinking a little bit, goes to rescue the little girl. But while he rescues the girl, this is when he can see the cream monster, the virgin sea monster, has killed the mom when she fell into the lake too. And he saw that and he starts freaking out now. Okay. And then after this, that's when they all go to the party. You ever been to a native party over there, Alison?
Oh yeah, I love the native parties, man.
All right.
That's where you find the most native virgins.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, they killed them all.
Well, they killed them all, but you got to get there early. That's where you go to the party early.
Yeah, you got to get there early and find them all. Yeah. So Neil and Shetty go over there. Okay. They're all walking in there. And this is when they meet, they run into Fry again. And Fry's drunk off his ass. All right. And then Neil's like, well, I thought you were going to be leaving here. I thought you were scared you're going to be leaving here. And he's like, what? All right. And then he's all like, and they're all like, but you're going to be leaving. It's like, I saved her. And they're like, who did you save? And he's like, what? He's like, I saved her. All right. I couldn't save the bitch mom, but I saved her. All right. And they're like, what did you see? What did you save? And then he passes out drunk. All right. All right. So this is when we get the scene where Madeline uncovers the Greek monster cock and she freaks out about it. The nun freaks out about it. She goes to the nun lair. The demon is now following her in her head. I guess once you unlock that layer, there's no going back. You're all gonna be Greek cocked.
I mean, that's kind of what I got out of it. But I felt like the nun kind of knew what this was and was trying to cover it up.
Yeah,
like they were. She was trying to keep anybody from finding out about this for some reason.
Yeah. So they're still doing parties and everything. They're cooking now and stuff at their party. Neil and Shelly now try to go find the sister. Okay, where the sister is in. They try to go look for her room. She's not in their room. All right. They find the painting of the cock monster there, which is cool. All right. And then they're worried about what's happening to her right now. All right. So they go meet up with the mayor. All right. So the mayor is basically saying like, don't mess with any of our rituals that go on here. Okay. This is basically what he's saying is now the mayor is now talking to Shelly, Neil, and Fry. And the mayor is basically like, hey, because of what this fucking guy did by blowing up the Virgin Temple. Now we have to go back to sacrificing people. Now, he didn't necessarily say that, but he says we got to go back to saving the town and doing this sort of rituals to save whatever evil he let through. So that's why they had the scene again with the girl that was supposed to be sacrificed that fell to the water.
Yeah.
That mom died, that Fry saved. She was there, and she was being picked up by a wolf man creature. Because the wolf, is actually like, I think the wolf is supposed to be like a symbol of like the ritual. Now, the wolf costume didn't have the staff going on there, brother.
It did not.
He was just in the costume thing, yeah.
Right.
All right, and of course, Shelley, she's so American, she doesn't like these native tactics. All right? Because she's a Western white girl. She don't like those native tactics, brother. All right? Can't be doing all that. All right, so while this is happening, the nun girl, the main nun girl, she's all bloodied up now.
Yeah.
She walks all through the town, and she goes to where the mayor is at, and everybody else is. They all see the nun. They're like, oh, shit. What the fuck happened to her? And, of course, they know, like, you know, Fry and Neil, like, oh, shit, we got to go get Madeline. She's in trouble. Okay? So Madeline now has been possessed by the Virgin monster creature. So now she goes back to her Virgin Temple lair. All right, but she could kind of just break through it. She doesn't need to go underwater. She can actually break through it because she has special powers. She just gets in there.
Yeah, but didn't she swim into it though?
She swam into it. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she jumped off a cliff and swam into the temple, the underwater temple.
Yeah, she's running. It's weird because at the beginning of the film, they just went right in there. But I guess after she did her stuff, maybe they put it underwater somehow. It's very interesting.
I think it went under. Yeah. Right.
But they because like the way Fry was explaining it, he said like, yeah, that used to be up on the earth, now it's down. But like, who did that? Was it the creature that hit the layer? I wasn't really sure.
No, I think it was like maybe an earthquake. He doesn't say that, but I assume that what he meant was it used to be on the mainland, and then it was an earthquake or something, and now it's underwater or under.
Yeah, but that was quick. That was quick though, because we saw at the beginning of the film Madeline just easily go into a boat in there. She didn't go underwater.
Yeah, but it was still. Well, that's true. They didn't go underwater. I don't know how they got into it at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I even at the very beginning, like I kind of took the idea that it was inside a cavern or something.
Yeah, I mean it was always in a cavern, but usually to get in, like Frey, the only way he can get it to is dive underneath and go underneath.
That's true. You're right. That's a good point.
Madeline, she just went right through in her boat at the beginning of the film, and it didn't look true. Unless it was like a 20-year time jump or some shit. Right? I mean, I don't know. Very interesting.
I didn't think about that, but I think you're right. I think that it's just I think it's just an error because, like, because they definitely do have to swim to get in there and every other aspect to it.
Yeah.
Or did it didn't sink when they blew it up, right?
No. Because the only blow up stuff that we saw was when he blew up the actual layer temple side.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So now Madeline's in there. She is now possessed and ready to get unvirginized, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
By the creature. Mm-hmm. Neil and Fry are like, oh, this don't work for us, brother. So they need to go help her out. So Neil, he's getting all the scuba diver stuff on. Same thing with Fry, and Fry's he's actually making a handmade explosive. He doesn't have no spears, even though he had one earlier. He doesn't have no spears, no weapons. He just has this handmade explosive.
He's going to blow up the monster.
So they go underneath the layer. All right. They go find the sister. All right. So Neil goes to the sister, tries to get her up and moving and stuff, and then Fry goes to attack the monster. Okay. So the way Fry attacks the monster is the monster bites on him, it starts biting on him, and then Fry just gets the bomb and the monster just blows up. All right.
Yeah, and we really kind of only see like the head of the monster.
Yeah, we only see the head part. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be. I took it as that it was supposed to be like that same kind of serpent creature that we see up in the painting.
Yeah.
But we really only see the head part because that's probably the only thing they have.
Well, which head are you talking about, Alison?
The one with the mouth on it.
Oh, okay. Just making sure, brother. Gotta be
right. We didn't see the we didn't see the wolf cock. We only saw a painting of it.
We gotta be we gotta be detailed here on the retro.
We gotta be detailed in this show. Yeah.
All right, so the cave is falling, and for some reason it took him forever to get his sister to put the mouth stuff on her. I guess she was still delirious or whatever.
Well, he tells her you have to breathe. You have to breathe into the breath in the ventilator.
Yeah, so they go underneath, go back onto the boat. All right, everything's okay. You know what I mean? We had the monster blowing up. Everything's okay. I did like it where like Neil like slapped her to get her to put the oxygen on.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck on there. All right.
Because back in 1982, that's just how you dealt with a woman, I guess.
Yeah.
We see that a lot in these Italian movies.
Oh yeah.
Zombie, where he just slaps her for
slaps
no
all the, you see
Yeah.
all that shit in these movies, and they don't give a shit back in the day. All right. So now Shelley comes into a room, and then now the mayor, I guess he knows everything that's happening because he's like a Spanish, a Greek mayor or something. He just knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's all over now. How the fuck do you know? All right. But apparently he knows.
Yeah.
All right. So now Neil and his sister, they are on Fry's boat. He's hugging his sister because, he's scared for her sister who almost got raped by a monster Greek creature. All right. You okay? Everything's okay. Yep. Everything's fine. Do a little kiss. All right, that's fine. And then, out of nowhere, like it's a totally different movie or plot line or Star Wars for some reason, Neil and Madeline start kissing, making out. Explain this to me, Alison. What is going on? Did I miss something here?
No, obviously I miss it too. I don't understand how this...
was there a sexual tension between them we didn't know about?
Maybe. I guess you're supposed to take it as like they've been through a lot and now they're going to fuck and be in a relationship together. Because she was originally just their friend, right?
No, that's his sister.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. That was his sister.
Yeah.
I'm still confused.
Yes.
I forgot. That is his sister.
Yes. It's his sister.
I'm a little confused. Maybe it's like some kind of Greek thing. I don't know. What
No, I don't know.
When I don't either. I'm just trying to make something up. When in Greece, you do what the Greeks do, which maybe they fuck their sisters. I don't know.
Well, anyway, they start kissing and making out. I was like, okay, I didn't see this coming. All right. So now the boat, the Fry's boat arrives at the dock. All right.
Yeah.
The mayor looks on at Madeline. Madeline's now on the boat. She's like shivering and stuff. And now Nell and Shelley, they throw all those coins that Fry took in the ocean, and then they just leave. Do you think Nell told Shelley like, hey, kind of like made out with my sister? So does that count?
It is a little weird.
It's not my fault, Shelley. It was either me or that cock wolf demon thing.
Right.
Huh?
So I took one for the team.
Took one for the team, man.
And made out with my sister.
Yeah. So there it is, everybody. Blood Tide. Very interesting movie.
I like this movie a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
It
reminded me a lot of Wicker Man in a way.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
like
similar.
Wicker Man.
Yeah. I think
people fucking around and finding out.
Yeah.
White people going to places they shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I would say that's very similar. Like Wicker Man to me is a little bit scarier. All right.
And way better. And way better than this. But still, this is decent.
Yeah, similar vibes and stuff. So, but everybody, thanks for joining us here on this fun edition of the Retro Blood, talking some Greek gods with big giant penises. Talking some incest over here. Talking some great James Earl Jones, Darth Vader voices of him banging white women. I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I like it.
When you got all three of those categories, the Retro Blood's going to be pretty fun. All right?
Yeah. But, Retro Blood approved.
But let's see if next week will hold up. Because we're continuing this train of blood movies. Because the Retro Blood's coming back with Blood Lake.
Yeah, so we had Blood Island.
Yes. No.
Blood Tide.
No. We had Blood Beach Alison.
Blood Beach. Sorry,
Yes.
Blood Beach.
Yes.
Blood Tide.
Blood Tide.
Now we have Blood Lake.
Blood Lake. But even though I think one of them...
We have a theme, an aquatic theme coming.
Now, I think Blood Lake was also known as Blood Island, but I'm not sure. We're going to check that out when we do the episode.
Sure.
But yes,
yeah,
we'll be doing Blood Lake for the next one. So we got a bunch of water and lakes and oceans and a lot of stuff happens crazy around the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. Lakes are scary things.
Yeah.
Especially when they're full of blood.
Yeah. So
I hope this one's as good as the other two that you've picked out, because this has been a good month so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun.
These movies have been great.
Yeah. Been pretty fun. I like it. The themes are pretty fun over here. So but everybody, thanks for joining us on here. Like I said, check us out on Apple Podcasts if you like podcasting. If you like just to hear our sweet voices, we're on the Apples, we're on the Spotifys, we're on the Amazons, we're on whatever you listen to
we're everywhere now.
Your radio shows at. All right?
Yeah.
We're all on the place. Check us on the YouTubes. Thanks everybody for checking us out on YouTube.
So
like and subscribe down below.
Yeah.
Do some comments down below. Tell us if we suck, we're good, whatever. Tell us your favorite Greek wolfcock stories. We'll listen.
Yeah. Tell us any stories about kissing your sister, whatever.
Yeah, we like it all. All right, we Retro Blood doesn't
we
judge.
Don't judge. We don't judge.
We do our thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're open minded on Retro Blood.
If y'all have any recommendations for movies we haven't done yet, retroblood69@gmail.com. Give us a movie. Let us know why you want us to review it. We'll read the comments on the air. We don't care. Recommendations for anything, anything 80s. We'll take it here on the Retro Blood. We are going to be coming back next month for a very special Lights Out, which I'm going to tell Alison about after this. And it should be a fun one. And it's going to be a movie we've been waiting to do for a long time on the Lights Out. So I think it's going to be very fun. But Alison, what song from The Who should we play when we get on out of here today?
Let's play The Who's Won't Get Fooled Again.
Ooh,
because when you kiss your sister by accident, you don't get fooled again after that.
You won't get fooled again, brother.
No, you won't.
And you can't be fooling our boy Fry either. He don't play no shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
Don't be doing that voodoo shit around here, brother.
Mm-mm.
All right? Your voodoo magic. All right?
Yeah, fuck that.
But everybody, James Kline, J.H. Alison, we'll see you here next week for the Blood Lake.
Blood Lake. See you guys.